Bright Beauty. Every student matters.
Now, what all topics we are going to cover in this chapter? So, in the previous chapter, we have already done about the slave dynasty and about the Khalji dynasty. Now, in this chapter, we will understand about the Tughlaq dynasty, one of the most important dynasty among all five Delhi Sultanate. After that, we will cover Sayyids and then we will do the Lodi. And at the end of the chapter, we will understand a common idea. We will get a common idea about the administration, the economy, the society of that time during the time period of Delhi Sultanate in general, covering all five major dynasties. Now, when we look into the Tughlaq dynasty, let's understand. First of all, the dynasty ruled for about 100 years. And for 100 years, when it ruled, it saw so many powerful rulers coming up with the new initiatives and development in the society, as well as there were some drawbacks also which we saw on the part of rulers, which actually have reversed or worsened the situation. And there were some initiatives which actually helped out people for their progress, for the development, basically for the common people. So let's understand here first that there was two rulers who were the most important one in this dynasty, and those were Muhammad bin Tughlaq and another one was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and among these two also Muhammad bin Tughlaq is the most famous, most prominent ruler of the dynasty. Let's start with the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Now Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. He ruled from AD 1320 to 1325. He was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. He was a very means we can say a very oriented kind of person, and he maintained the discipline of his army. He was very disciplined also, and he was the first ruler who actually worked for the planning of construction of canals. So this is very important point. The ruler coming up with the idea to construct the canals, which at last will help in the agriculture production. Then we saw that he was the first sultan to frame regulation for famine relief. So famine relief, how? Like he actually made the taxation policy in such a way that there should be no burden on the peasants also, and vice versa on the government, on the state or the government also. So he followed the rule that peasants should not be left lightly taxed, and they should also not be heavily taxed. So that kind of neutral policy he has opted, and this is how he has actually framed out regulations for famine relief, so that the solution can also come and it should not get overburdened to any specific section of the society. And he has built his capital in Tughlaqabad, which is present day in Delhi. So these are some important points about Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who was the founder of the dynasty. And one more thing which is very important is that he actually insisted that the extra income which nobles were earning out of Ikta system, other than the salary, means the profit which they were earning, that earning amount should directly come in the account of the government rather than going it in their luxury part. He has actually devised the system in such a way that the profit which was extra income from the noble part of this Ikta system, that surplus amount is going directly in the government treasury. So this was another very important and very beneficial step which he has taken. Now, after Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, his son has taken up the power, and his son name was Jona Khan. So he was Jona Khan. Earlier, his name was Jona Khan. Later on, he got the title of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And that is what we are going to understand in this slide. So the next ruler of Tughlaq dynasty became Muhammad bin Tughlaq from 1325 till 1351. When we talk about Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he was one of the most famous ruler of the dynasty. And he wanted to rule not only in India, but to the entire Central Asia. This was his aim. And he was very, very learned. He learned man. He was a genius. He was a great scholar of philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, science, poet, and good orator. So he was a very, very intelligent person. He was a very wise man. And there was one very important traveler's name comes during the time period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and his name is Ibn Battuta. So Ibn Battuta was a Moroccan traveler who visited India during the time period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was impressed by Ibn Battuta's scholarship, and he appointed him as a Qazi. Qazi means judge. Judge of Delhi, means of his capital. But what we saw in the accounts of Muhammad bin Tughlaq also, Ibn Battuta also, that he has actually written about the entire administrative part, entire society, economy. So he has actually given the very, very detailed description about Muhammad bin Tughlaq's ruling time period. So through those sources, we got to know that Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a kind of very, the person with a mixture of opposites. Why so? Now, first of all, what we saw is that he was a very strange person. He offended the orthodox ulemas. Means he does not support always ulemas. Ulemas were, the orthodox leaders, or the person who actually follows the guidelines of this Quran, and they give advices to the rulers so that they can actually implement those guidelines into the empire or the dynasty also. So ulemas were orthodox. They were very, very orthodox kind of Muslims. So sometimes he offend them. Sometimes he offend them also. And he planned several ambitious schemes and made unique experiments, due to which we are calling him as a mixture of opposite. Means although he was a very intelligent person, very wise person, but the kind of strategies, the kind of action or steps which he has taken, that is quite doubtful. That we are, or the historians are unable to understand his personality. So what all experiments he has done, and whether those experiments were successful or not. So when we first look into the experiment, first was the transfer of the capital from AD 1326 to 27. So when we know that earlier, the capital was Tughlaqabad, and where is this Tughlaqabad? It is in Delhi. Okay, now when Muhammad bin Tughlaq has started extended himself towards the southern part of India, what he thought that it should be better to switch his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad or Devagiri. Now, where is this Devagiri or Daulatabad? It is in Maharashtra. So what he thought that he should change his capital from Delhi to Devagiri or Daulatabad. He tried this experiment. He felt that the control over the entire dynasty would be easier for him if he will rule from Devagiri, because it will become the central part, because southern part is also means he has already expanded his empire till the southern part. If we will look into the map of this Muhammad bin Tughlaq's time period, you can see that how much empire he has extended. The green color is the entire empire of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So you can see here, this is Devagiri or Daulatabad, and earlier it was here, Delhi. So what he thought, that from Delhi to Devagiri, it would be easier for him to control over the, or to take, to have a look on the empire through sitting here. So this was the first reason why he thought to change his capital. Second reason was because he was getting a constant threat from the Mongols from the Central Asia. They were attacking on Delhi from the Central Asia. So second was to avoid those threats. This was the two reasons why he thought of to change the or transfer the capital. He has done that changing. So once they have changed from Delhi to Daulatabad or Devagiri, not only the ruler, the entire subject, along with all the people of those of that dynasty belonging to Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they all shifted from Delhi to Devagiri. So during this transition, many people lost their homes, lost their lives, and there was a lot of struggling. So people shifted from there to there. Now, once he reached in Devagiri, what he realized, that the threat or the attacks over Delhi or the northern part of India has increased, and Mongols continuously started attacking on the northern part of India. So like this, the northern portion will go just off his hand. So that is why, again, what he thought, to change his capital from Devagiri to Delhi. So twice he has changed his capital. Delhi to Devagiri, and again Devagiri to Delhi. So twice he has changed his capital. Lots and lots of people have suffered. That people didn't get time to even settle up, and again they have to shift. So in this process, the people suffered a lot, common people. So this was one of his experiment which was not successful. It was a big failure. Second was the token currency policy. So kind of demonetization. We can see and we can correlate demonetization of that time period. What Muhammad bin Tughlaq has done during that time, the amount or the value of silver was increasing. So during his dynasty, earlier there was a silver coin. What he has done to increase the value and to limitize the circulation of silver, because the silver was in demand, on demand throughout the world. So that is why to kept those silver coins on treasure, what he has done, he has actually demonetized silver coin with the copper and brass. So what he has done, Muhammad bin Tughlaq has actually changed silver currency into copper and brass currency. So after this, what happened? Although silver and gold value during that time was definitely that was increasing, but the copper and brass, when he actually started circulating these coins into the empire, people have started, because the value of copper, although it is a currency, so it will be having value, but the value of metal was lesser than silver and gold. So brass and copper, when it got circulated to the entire dynasty, people have started minting their own coin, and there was lot of we can say illegal procedure has started in the circulation of coin. This actually just downfall the image of Delhi Sultanate among the foreign traders, and due to which they refused to accept this currency. And again, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who has actually sell those silver coins to purchase copper and brass coin in large amount, again sold those coins and try to converting it into silver coins. And for this, he has completely the treasury was completely empty after this, because he again invested on silver, which he earlier sold for brass and copper. So this was his second experiment, which was again a big failure. Third was the taxation in the Doab. Now you see the time period 1326. It is the same time period when there was a transition, when the transition was happening from Delhi to Daulatabad. So during that time, that was a period of famine. And during that time, the Doab region means the region region near Ganga and Yamuna. In those regions, because there was a good fertility range of the crop production, he has increased the taxation. But the people during that time was already not settled, and there was a period of famine, so people suffered a lot to pay this tax, which he has increased, he has raised. So several people suffered, and so many farmers even abandoned also. They abandoned their land, and some revolted against the policy, and finally he has to withdraw it. So again, this was the third failure. Now, when we talk about the fourth experiment, that was the expeditions into Khurasan and Karachal. So Khurasan and Karachal are the region. Karachal is basically today's, when we see Pakistan region and the parts of Afghanistan, and the Khurasan, again, the Afghanistan part means the Central Asian parts. So he has tried to do expedition over these area, but what happened? He was unable to conquer these area. He was unable to make expeditions and control over these territories. And at last, what happened? This, along with the failure of earlier schemes, affected the prestige of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And people were really disheartened, and they were not happy with all his experiments which he were doing. So this all made actually the ruler very unpopular, and the name got defamed, and people have started resisting against his policies. So he got a bad names because of his all wrong decisions and unplanned actions. Because he took all the steps. Maybe he has taken those steps for the good purpose, but without understanding about its consequences, he has taken these steps or actions, which got reversed in its result. So he lost the faith of the common people and his noble, and along with the orthodox ulema, who was nobles and ulema, they are the part of administration. Even his own people has lost faith from him. And during this time, what happened? During this time, the revolt began from Bengal, Gujarat, Rangal, and other regions throughout the entire area, wherever the empire was stretched out. And Vijayanagar and Bahamani Kingdom and Vijayanagar Kingdom, very important one, located in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. These kingdoms actually rose into the power, and these kingdoms became very powerful over the southern part of India. And due to which he has started losing his southern control. And after he started losing his control over the entire empire, he died in 1351. So 1351, he died after all these failure experiments, and this actually, led to the starting point of the downfall of the dynasty. So this was the time period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, one of the most famous ruler of the dynasty. Next comes Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And Firoz Shah has realized he has actually realized the mistakes which Muhammad bin Tughlaq has done. So he worked over those mistakes first. He understood that without the support of nobles and ulemas, he cannot run the administration. So for that, because in the part of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, it was clearly evident that he offended ulemas, even the nobles. So that is why he understood that why his people became, against of him, because he was not supporting them. He was not, actually giving them importance. So this he has understood, and he actually reversed this action by granting a revenue and bigger jagirs, matlab land grants, to ulemas and nobles, just to please them, just to make them happy. And he even has given so much importance to ulema to interfere in the decision making process in the administrative work. So through this, he has gained faith over the ulemas and nobles. And he imposed Islamic laws to please ulemas. Islamic law he has imposed over the subject, and he allowed these orthodox ulemas to influence Sultan's policy in a certain matter. Now, slowly what happened? Ulema became very powerful because they are getting those authority and power from the ruler. So that is why they become very powerful, and they began to influence the policy of the kingdom. So at the same time, what happened? The power of Sultan got decreased. And when the power, because if someone is starting influence over the administration or starting replacing or substituting the authority of the ruler, then in that case, ultimately the power of ruler will get decreased, because the ulemas are coming up and the sultan's influence over the administration is getting decreased. So what happens in this matter? Because during that time, during the time period of Delhi Sultanate, Tughlaq dynasty was there at the central rule, and the most part of India was covered under this dynasty. So once they saw that central authority is becoming weak because ruler is losing his control over the administration. So after that, what happened? The governors of Bihar and Bengal had rebelled against the Sultanate. They have started rebelling against the Sultanate. And Mewar, this is Bihar and Bengal from the eastern part. From the western part, Mewar and Marwar had also revolted. And Firoz tried to suppress those revolts, but he couldn't. And he did not get succeeded in suppressing those revolt which was coming from east and western part. And why they were revolting? Because they have understood that there is no power which the ruler is able to now exercise, and all decisions have been taken by the ulemas only. So these governors from eastern and western part has started revolting against this orthodoxy of ulemas, which they were, in the way they were interfering in the all administrative matter and the loss of control of the sultan from these proceedings. But now here we will understand that how Firoz Shah was a successful in terms of reformer, if we will say. A reformer, the person who is actually reforming the society, means making a better place, making a society as a better place to live. So through all the initiatives, right, through all the good works. So what all those things he has done? He was an ideal ruler as per the people. He was the ideal ruler, and he has started some schemes for the welfare of common people. Now, what was those welfare schemes? Charity organizations, employment bureaus were set up, and he has built so many shelter houses for the people who do not have homes. So these kind of initiative he has taken. Another one, he made separate departments for slaves. because this slavery was existing during this time in Delhi Sultanate. So he has made these separate department for the slaves. He built so many canals, tanks, and wells for use of agriculture, and as well as for the hospitals. So construction work also he has done abundantly. And then we saw there was the emergence of new cities which was built by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Those new cities were Firozabad, Jaunpur, and Firozpur. These were three important cities which were constructed or which was built by Firoz Shah Tughlaq: Firozabad, Jaunpur, and Firozpur. Then we saw that he himself was a very, very learned man, and he was a patron of learning. Like he built some educational institution also, and he actually worked on the translation of text from Sanskrit to Arabic and Persian, because Persian was naturally it was the official language during that time. Persian was the official language of Delhi Sultans, and in Arabic also he has converted. And after the death of these all were measures, these all were initiatives which were taken by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. And as a reformer, if we will see, he was a very, very idle kind of ruler for the people, for his subjects. But after the death of Firoz Shah Tughlaq, actually the empire has started going in a downfall. So because there was a constant war after Firoz Shah Tughlaq's death, which the successor of Firoz Shah Tughlaq was unable to handle. And many provinces from southern part, from eastern part, from western part, they have started gaining their own independency, and they got separated from the Tughlaq dynasty. So that was about the Firoz Shah. Now, when we look into the downfall of the Tughlaq Empire and the invasion of Timur, let's understand how these two things are related. Amir Timur, who was actually the ruler of Balkh in Central Asia, he is also known as the Timur-e-Lank, and he invaded India in 1398. So in 1398, Amir Timur actually invaded India. He attacked over Delhi because Delhi was the capital. So he attacked over Delhi and plundered Delhi, and he looted, the wealth from here. He massacred so many thousands and thousands of people. He killed so many people just to complete his mission. And what was his mission? His mission was to attack and plunder Delhi, completely looting out the wealth from Delhi. And during his invasion, who was this Tughlaq ruler? He was Nasiruddin Mahmud. Nasiruddin Mahmud was the Tughlaq ruler, the ruler of Tughlaq dynasty during the time period when Amir Timur attacked over Delhi. So, general of Nasir Mahmud was Mallu Iqbal. Mallu Iqbal has tried his level best to resist the attack of Timur over Delhi. He tried his level best, but he was unable to protect Delhi from the invasion of Amir Timur and his cruelty over the people. And Timur stayed for about a fortnight in Delhi. And during this period, wherever he went, he carried fire and sword, and he blindly killed thousands and thousands of people whoever came on his way. So when they had looted enough, they went back to Samarkand. Samarkand was the capital of Timur. After looting the wealth from Delhi, he went back to his capital, and his purpose was not to expand his empire till Delhi or till India. His purpose was to loot out the wealth from here. He wanted to plunder Delhi. So once he got successful in his mission, he went back to his capital, which was the Samarkand in Central Asia, and he beautified his capital with elegant buildings, palaces, and mosques, which basically resource wealth which he got from this plunder amount, the treasury which he actually looted from Delhi. So through that he beautified his capital. And when going back to his capital, he appointed Khizr Khan as a viceroy of India. Now, who was this Khizr Khan? Khizr Khan, who got appointed by Nasiruddin Mahmud after the plundering of Delhi. He appointed him as a because after this, definitely when Timur attacked over Delhi, Tughlaqs got completely ended. Their dynasty got completely end up there, and after that, because he has actually attacked over that area, so after that, because his main aim was not to have a control over that area, it was only for the plundering. So his purpose was not to administer from over Delhi. He wanted to go back. So on his behalf, what he has done, he has appointed Viceroy of India as who was a Khizr Khan, and Khizr Khan later on made his independent dynasty, which was the Sayyid dynasty, the next dynasty after the Tughlaqs. So this was how the downfall of Tughlaq Empire was related to the invasion of Timur. Invasion of Timur was like the last strike over there. Over the process of downfall, which has been already started with the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's time period, with his all wrong experiments and empty of treasury. From there, the downfall has started. But this was the last strike which Timur has done, and this led to the complete end of the Tughlaq Empire.